3.3 Budget Constraint. You can't have everything. Where would you put it? Stephen Wright. Knowing an individual's preferences is only the first step in analyzing that person's consumption behavior. Consumers maximize their well being subject to constraints. The most important constraint most of us face in deciding what to consume is our personal budget. If we cannot save and borrow, our budget is the income we receive in a given period. If we can save and borrow, we can save money early in life to consume later, such as when we retire, or we can borrow money when we are young and repay those sums later in life. Savings is, in effect, a good that consumers can buy. For simplicity, assume that each consumer has a fixed amount of money to spend now. So we can use the terms budget and income interchangeably. For graphical simplicity, we assume that consumers spend their money on only two goods. If Lisa spends all her budget capital Y on pizza and burritos, then P sub 1 times Q sub 1 plus P sub 2 times Q sub 2 equals capital Y, equation 3.10, where P sub 1 times Q sub 1 is the amount she spends on pizza, and P sub 2 times Q sub 2 is the amount she spends on burritos. In equation 3.10 is her budget line or budget constraint. The bundles of goods that can be bought if a consumer's entire budget is spent on those goods at given prices. In figure 3.7, we plot Lisa's budget line in uh, pizza burrito space, just as we did with her indifference curves. How many burritos can Lisa buy? Using algebra, we can rewrite her budget constraint equation 3.10 as q sub 2 equals capital Y minus p sub 1 times q sub 1 over p sub 2, equation 3.11. According to equation 3.11, she can buy more burritos with a higher income, open parentheses, the derivative of q sub 2 with respect to capital Y income equals 1 over p sub 2 is greater than 0. The purchase of fewer pizzas, open parentheses, the derivative of q sub 2 with respect to q sub 1 equals negative p sub 1 over p sub 2 is less than 0, or a lower price of burritos or pizzas, open bracket, the derivative of q sub 2 with respect to p sub 2 equals negative, open parentheses, capital Y minus p sub 1 times q sub 1, close parentheses, over p squared, p sub 2 squared equals negative q sub 2 over p sub 2 is less than 0. The derivative of q sub 2 with respect to q sub 1, the I misspoke, the derivative of q sub 2 with respect to p sub 1 equals negative q sub 1 over p sub 2 is less than 0. For example, she has one more dollar of income, capital Y. She can buy 1 over p sub 2 more burritos if p sub 1 equals $1. P sub 2 equals $2. And capital Y equals $50. Equation 3.11 is Q sub 2 equals $50 minus open parentheses uh, $1 times Q sub 1 close parentheses over $2 equals 25 minus 1/2 times Q sub 1. Figure 3.7 budget constraint. If capital Y equals $50, uh, P sub 1 equals $1, P sub 2 equals $2, Lisa can buy any bundle in the opportunity set, the shaded area, including points on the budget line, capital L, which has a slope of negative 1/2. On the graph, the vertical axis, we have a Q sub 2 burritos per semester, and on the horizontal axis, Q sub 1 pizzas per semester. On the vertical axis, 25 equals capital Y over P sub 2, and 50 equals capital Y over P sub 1 on the horizontal axis. There is a solid blue line connecting the 25 on the vertical axis Q sub 2 and the 50 on the horizontal axis Q sub 1. And beneath that line is the opportunity set. This equation is plotted in figure 3.7. The budget line in the figure shows the combinations of burritos and pizzas that Lisa can buy if she spends all of her $50 on these two goods. As this equation shows, every two pizza cost Lisa one burrito. How many burritos can she buy if she spends all her money on burritos? By setting Q sub 1 equal to 0 in equation 3.11, we find that the Q sub 2 equals capital Y over P sub 2 equals $50 over $2 equals 25. Similarly, if she spends all her money on pizza, Q sub 2 equals 0, and the Q sub 1 equals capital Y over P sub 1 equals $50 over $1 equals 50. The budget constraint in figure 3.7 is a smooth continuous line. The continuous line shows that Lisa can buy fractional numbers of burritos and pizzas. Is that true? Do you know of a restaurant that will sell you a quarter of a burrito? Probably not. Why then don't we draw the opportunity set and the budget constraint as points, bundles of whole numbers of burritos and pizzas? The reason is that Lisa can buy a burrito at a rate of 1/2 per time period. If Lisa buys one burrito every other week, she buys an average of 1/2 burrito every week. Thus, it is plausible that she could purchase fractional amounts over time. And this diagram concerns her behavior over a semester. Lisa could, of course, buy any bundle that costs less than $50. An opportunity set consists of all the bundles a consumer can buy, including all the bundles inside the budget constraint and only budget constraint. Open parentheses, all those bundles of positive Q sub 1 and Q sub 2, such that P sub 1 times Q sub 1 plus P sub 2 times Q sub 2 is less than or equal to capital Y. Lisa's opportunity set is the shaded area in the figure. For example, she could buy 10 burritos and 15 pizzas for $35, which falls inside her budget constraint. However, she can obtain more of the two foods by spending all of her budget and picking a bundle on the budget line rather than a bundle below the line. We call the slope of the budget line the marginal rate of transformation. Capital MRT, capitals MRT, the trade off the market imposes on the consumer in terms of the amount of one good the consumer must give up to obtain more of the other good. The marginal rate of transportation, capitals MRT, is the rate at which Lisa is able to trade burritos for pizzas in the marketplace when the prices she pays and her income are fixed. In contrast, the marginal rate of substitution is the trade off Lisa would want to make regardless of her income, holding prices and income constant and differentiating equation 3.11 with respect to q sub 1. We find that the slope of the budget constraint or the marginal rate of transformation is capitals MRT equals the derivative of q sub 2 over with respect to q sub 1. Let me restate the marginal rate of substitute transformation. Capitals MRT equals the derivative of q sub 2 with respect to q sub 1 equals negative p sub 1 over p sub 2, equation 3.12. Because the price of a pizza is half that of a burrito, open parentheses, p sub 1 equals $1 and p sub 2 equals $2, the marginal rate of transformation that Elisa faces is capitals MRT equals negative p sub 1 over p sub 2 equals negative $1 over $2 equals negative 1 over 2. An extra pizza cost her half an extra burrito, or equivalently, an extra burrito cost her two pizzas.